What's going on, guys? My name is Trailer, and today I'm going to go over the top 5 tips and tricks I use to climb from iron to diamond in teamfight tactics in the course of 2 to 3 weeks. Before we jump into the video, though, it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could leave a like and hit the sub button if you haven't done so yet, and also leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And if you found the video helpful at all, share it with your friends, help the channel grow some. Be greatly appreciated, guys. But let's throw my stats up on screen for you here. As you see, we're currently sitting in Diamond 4 10LP. We played 134 matches. We have a 17.9% win rate and a 60.5% top 4 rate. There's my stats. That's what I've done. Now let's go to the first tip or trick, whatever you want to call it. All right, number 1, first and foremost, know your compositions and your items. And we went over this in the previous video to this, the beginner's guide. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. But you should at least have, at very least, 4 compositions that you know that you can transition, pivot, whatever you want to call it, into in case you're contested. You should also know the items you're going to need for those compositions to make them stronger. You don't want to go into a composition if you don't have the items for it. It's not going to help you. You're not going to hit top 4. But you need to know those items and those comps. If you don't have them memorized, if you're new to this, it's not a big deal. We talked about it in the last video. Get you a piece of paper, write down 4 of the different comps that you want to go that are different, and write down the champions you're going to need and the items you're going to need, who your carries are going to be, and all that. If you're bad at items, we also talked about a site that I use all the time. It's called blitz.gg/tft/items. Site's phenomenal. It shows you what each item builds into, and it also shows you what that item does, the description of that item. So if you know the stuff, great. If not, use a little bit of help. Write the names down of the champions you need, compositions you can go. But make sure you have at least 4 that you can transition to in case you are contested. That's one of the biggest tips I can give for number 1 right there. Number 2, and this is a big one. You guys want to scout other players during the match. And what do I mean by that? You need to look and see what other people are doing, what they're building towards, so you can see if you're going to be contested, if you're not going to be contested, and so on and so forth. You want to look at their items. What items do they have? What could they build into and be strong at? You know, maybe somebody is trying to do a Zaya Shredder build, but they have 5 tiers. It's going to be useless. Those items are useless for that. So if you're going Zaya Shredder, you probably don't need to worry about him so much because he's probably not going to last too long. And another example of that, if you're wanting to build Zaya Shredder and another guy already has a tier 3 Zaya, I mean, you need to scout him out to know. It's like, oh wow, he's got a 3-star Zaya already. I don't want to go this comp. I got to get off of this. I got to go somewhere else. So you need to scout other players out. And especially if you are in silver and gold, it is the worst in silver and gold. You have to scout. The reason for it, silver and gold players just don't care. That's what I've noticed. They don't care. They go into that match and they're like, I'm going to play this composition. No matter what, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to play it. There could be 4 other people doing that exact same comp, and they will not pivot, they will not transition, whatever you want to call it, they will not get off of that comp. I don't know what it is about silver and gold. I don't know if they just don't know how to transition or what, but they will not. They will hold your hand all the way to the bottom. They're not going to transition off it, so you have to be able to make that switch yourself. If you're getting contested by 2 other people on a composition, even if you got a jump start on it and you have the perfect items and you have the perfect jump start and you got more 2-stars than anybody, you got to get off of it. If not, you guys are all going to end up in the bottom. You're not going to place top 4. You're not going to gain LP. I know it sucks. You should get it, but usually when you get higher in the elos, people don't do that as much. You get higher in the elos, people are going to watch and they're going to be like, oh wow, this guy has perfect items for this composition and he's heading this way. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to pivot off. They actually do that once you get higher. You get higher into platinum and stuff. But silver and gold are just horrible. They're horrible with that. The way I like to scout is I start scouting usually on 2-3. By the time you hit the first carousel, that's when I'll start scouting. and I'll look at see what items people have, and I'll look and I'll see what do they have on the bench as well as what they're playing. They might have Vanguards out there, Vanguard Pirates out there, and that's what they're playing because that's what the strongest thing they have right now. But you might look, and on their bench they have 2 Rumbles, an Annie, and a Shaco. I'm like, wow, that guy's. I'm looking at that guy. I'm like, he's probably going to go Mech Infiltrator right now. Look what he's holding on his bench. That's a lot of gold to hold on his bench. So that guy's going Mech Infiltrator, so you don't need to worry about what's in the field. But usually I'll start at 2-3, and I'll start checking people. And if you're in silver and gold, by the time Krug's round hits, usually that low elo people are already set in a composition, and they're not going to change. So usually after Krug's round, if you scout people out, if you're in silver and gold, they're probably going to stay that composition that they're heading. They're not going to switch off of it at all. A little bit higher up, they can transition later on. They know a little bit more about how to transition. But for sure, at 2-3, start scouting. And then by the next carousel after that, you should already have a path picked out. You should know what you're doing, know where you're going at the latest. You can transition later on, but for this, you should have a path picked out. All right, let's talk about number 3, Econ. Econ's a big one. The best thing I can tell you guys about your economy is you do not want to roll for champions if you're not at 50 gold. All right? Gold is a huge thing. The more gold you have, the better. The more gold you have, the more you're going to make. You get an extra gold for every 10 gold you get. So unless you're going for a donkey roll comp or hyper roll comp, whatever you want to call it, which is pretty much Zaya Shredder build or a Poppy Candyland build, right? Where you want to 3-star your 1-cost units as quick as possible. You roll the round after the Krugs, you roll down all your money to try to 3-star them so you get a power spike. Unless you're going one of those 2 comps, do not hit the roll button until you hit 50 gold. Alright, it's a big thing. More money you have, the more you make. Alright, you need the money. Money is good. Now, there are going to be times that you're going to need to roll down below 50 gold or level up and go down below 50 gold. And the general rule that I like to follow during this is I'm going to try to stay above 50 gold in either slow level or slow roll, depending on what composition I'm going for and what I need to hit, as long as I'm above 50 health. If I go below 50 health, then I throw my 50 gold rule out the window. It's gone. If I drop below 50 health, I'm either power leveling to try to stabilize because I'm taking too much damage, or I'm rolling down to try to get a 2-star unit that maybe might not be 2-starred yet that will give me a power spike. But if I go below 50 health, I don't care about my gold at that point. I need to stabilize, make sure I start winning matches, or just not losing so much health when I do lose. So my 50 gold is useless at that point. And then once we stabilize and we get up back to where we're winning again, that's when we go back to getting 50 gold again and keeping 50 gold. It just all depends on what comp you have, whether you're going to slow roll when you're above 50 gold or whether you're going to slow level when you're above 50 gold. Like, for example, if you're doing a Void Brawler build, well, your comp really comes online once you have Vel'Koz and Cho'Gath, which are both 4-cost units. The best place to roll down for those 4-cost units is usually level 8. Level 7, level 8. I prefer 8 over 7. So I'm going to slow roll and just push my levels as fast as possible and just throw out whatever I can so I can get that Cho'Gath and Vel'Koz, because that's when you get a huge power spike to get all your voids out there. So something like that, I'll usually slow level till I hit 8, and then once I hit 8, I'll start rolling down. Alright, number 4. Number 4 is going to be play your strongest board. And what I mean by that is you want to have the strongest champions out there with whatever synergy you can get to try to keep your health as high as possible early on. You don't want to take too much damage in the early game. Now, play your strongest board doesn't have to fit into whatever composition you're leaning towards or anything like that. It just has to be whatever makes you the strongest at that point in time. So a good example of this would be early on in the game. Vanguard's a very good 2 champion buff, right? Throw a Leona and Poppy out there, get a Vanguard, and then you can complement that with maybe a Chrono. Get a Caitlyn and throw Twisted Fate out there, get the Chrono buff. Okay, so now you have Chrono and Vanguard. You're pretty strong getting them 2 stars. Even if you're not going to keep those units, you just want to be as strong as you can early in the game. Another easy way to do that, you can do Vanguards and Cybernetic with another Leona, a Poppy, and use a Fiora and a Lucian, right? So you get the Cybernetic bonus, you get the Vanguard bonus, you get a little bit of damage, and you got the tank up front. You got someone that can absorb the damage, the Vanguards. You can do this with Brawlers as well. It's just you need something out there that's going to make you strong enough to where you're either winning or you're only losing by like 1 or 2 champions. Now, number 4 kind of goes into number 5. So we're just going to roll right into number 5 here. Number 5 is you want to try and keep your streaks. And I know it's hard. It's difficult. You gain more money the more you're streaking. So if you're win streaking, you got some wins, you want to try to keep that win streak. If you're lose streaking, you got 2 losses in a row, you want to try to keep that loss streak because you're going to make more money. More money, better. Just like we talked about Econ. The more money you have, the better. The more money you're making, the better. I will say this. It is extremely difficult to lose streak, right? To lose streak properly, because you want to be strong enough out there that you're only losing by 1 champion, at the best 2 champions maybe. It's really hard to do that because you don't want to be popping back and forth because you're never going to get on a streak. If you win 1 and then lose 1, then win 1, then lose 1, you're never going to gain any more money. It's not extremely easy, but it's a lot more easy to win streak. So I recommend the first 2 rounds. Say you win the first 2 rounds, right? Usually you want to have 10 gold by round 2, 3. But say you won the first 2 rounds and you're on a win streak, you're starting your win streak. I would level and put 4 champions out there to secure your win streak. Anytime you can secure that streak, it's beneficial. So I wouldn't worry about the 10 gold because you're going to make more money off that win streak by leveling. Not right then, but later on you will. So always try to play your strongest board and always try to keep your streaks. Like I said, if you have to go below 10 gold or 20 gold just to keep a win streak, you have to put some money into leveling, do that. If it's going to keep your win streak, you need to do it. Like I said, lose streaking is really hard. You just want to try not to lose as much, and you have to figure a point in time when you need to switch your lose streak to a win streak. Okay, like you don't want to be taking a lose streak for 10 rounds. You're going to take way too much damage. So you never want to keep a lose streak for very long if you're lose streaking. Usually if you're lose streaking early on, it's good for carousel picks. You get first pick in the carousel, so it's better for picking items. But if you're win streaking, you're getting more gold. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for my 5 tips and tricks videos for climbing ranked. Hopefully you found it helpful, and hopefully you climb some elo with it. And if you do find it helpful and everything, make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share the video, help the channel grow some, and much appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.